Welcome to another weekly statistical review, and it's going to make for an interesting review, this one. So what we do is we go onto our latest trades page and we select the date from, which will be Monday, and we are now Saturday the 27th, so this shows a full week of trading. And look at those for some weekly statistics. Just let me zoom in a little bit. I've just repositioned the page so that you guys can see everything correctly. So incredibly tough week, if I'm honest. Last week was a break-even week, so nothing really to talk about there. We weren't in any trades that rolled over. We are still in 2 trades this week, which will carry on to next week. Both of those are up. But in terms of the figures, minus 221 pips. Almost a record for the number of straight losses in a row. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 losses in a row, followed by a couple of break-evens and 3 more losses. So I always like to review all the trades that I took for the previous week to ensure that there wasn't anything that we took that we shouldn't have done, to see if there's any improvements to make, and in particularly this week, because we've seen such a large number of losses. This is not unprecedented, but it's very unusual, particularly to see 221 pips is quite a lot, but if you're quite an active trader, it's not that much. However, the number of consecutive losses is unusual. So I went through each of the trades to make sure that all of them were valid, they met the rules, we didn't do anything out of the ordinary. All the trades were valid, and I would take them all again. Now, what we did have this week was we had Boris, who was elected Prime Minister, and that did cause some unusual movement. And let me just talk through, because there's 4 or 5 key trades here that came very, very close to targets, stopped us out, then went on to hit targets, and they were the turning point. And so let's just run through a couple of these. So first of all, down here we had the pound dollar. This was a trend continuation trade, really, within a channel playing for a retest of the lows. We got 110 pips up. The target was 117. We came 7 pips from target. We rolled to break even. Boris got elected. We saw a spike bullishly. A day or 2 later, the market came back down and hit targets. So we worked that trade as per the rules. We'd come close enough to move to break even, and unfortunately, as a result of Boris being elected, we were stopped out, and then it went on to win. So that was first of all 100 and well, I'm just going to mark these down. I don't like doing should-haves or, could have beens, but it's good to look at this week and say, was there a reason why we did significantly worse than other weeks? And so for that trade, that went on to win, but as a result of Boris, it was a break-even trade, unfortunately, but would have been 117. Right here, we've got a pound. Nope, not that one. Not that one, not that one. We had, I'm just trying to remember these now, not that one. Okay, we had the pound Aussie, guys. First of all, the majority of you, at 99% of you, got targets on this. For some reason, my targets and one other person's within the signal service didn't get filled, but everyone else's did. So you banked around 63 pips on that trade. Unfortunately for me, it was a break even. That was also as a result of the news, so I can't include that, even though the bulk of you did have that as a winner. The pound yen wedge here stopped us out by 3 pips and went on to win for 50. Unfortunately, again, very likely we took this after the news, and price came a little bit lower than we thought, and it just stopped us out. But in terms of the stop placement, I checked the stop on this. This was valid. So this was just one of those trades that just stopped us out and went on to win. It stopped us out for 21. Would have been a winner for 50. We look at the Euro Swiss. This one was a wedge pattern. It was only 16 pips, but it stopped us out to the pip turned and hit targets for 16. That would have made a difference of 32 because you don't take the loss of 16 and you win for 16. So very, very close. And again, we took it after the news. The news had settled down, but we saw price just come a little bit lower than we initially anticipated. Now, I'm not going to go into any more trades because there was 2 other trades that got 80% of the way to targets, but I'm not going to go into those. So if we just look at the figures for why we've done so poorly, we had the 117 pip trade from pound dollar, the 63 pip trade that the bulk of you got, which I didn't, the 50 pip winner on the pound yen, which stopped us out within a couple of pips, and then the 32, which was the 16 here on the wedge that stopped us out to the pip. So a little bit of unusual movement as a result of the news, and that was only 4 winners, but in those winners there was around 280 pips, which would have actually meant that if we didn't see as much erratic behavior, we may have finished the month in profit, the week in profit, sorry. So we're down 221, but looking at the trades, and were all the trades valid? Yes, there were. There was nothing out of the ordinary. Were the stops in the right place? Were the targets in the correct place? Yes. What were the unusual trades then? Well, 4 of them went on to hit targets, and we was just stopped out barely on them, and they were the key turning points, and that would have shown the difference of a winning week and a losing week. And it just goes to show that just those minute differences could have seen a huge difference of us being down 221 pips, which is quite a bit for a week, and us seeing a very large streak of losses compared to really breaking that streak up into bigger winners and us finishing the week in profit. And unfortunately it just didn't turn out that way. I know some of you though on the big pound dollar did take targets a little bit earlier than we did, so congratulations for you guys. There's a couple of you that pretty much only just finished the week down, so well done, congratulations to you. Unfortunately for me it was a tough week, and it was a tough week for psychology because we had to ensure that we followed the rules, that we only took the trades that met the plan. We made sure we didn't take trades before news events, we took them after the news, made sure that the markets had settled, and unfortunately we did see some more erratic behaviour the day after Boris got elected, and it's one of those things. So, but what we did is we stuck to the plan, we evaluated all the trades, and the bigger picture is we did everything correct. So we start again next week, and we don't let this week affect us, even though it was a very tough week. There was no real trades that we missed, no real key trades that we'd missed, if I'm honest. We pretty much took all the trades that met to the plan. There wasn't any that, any real big winners that we just missed. So that's it, guys. Not too much to talk about. Unfortunately, a very, very unusual week in terms of the number of losses. And yeah, the pips is higher than what I would usually see on a normal losing weekly basis. But they're the reasons. We'll put it behind us and we will start again next week. Apart from that, have a lovely weekend, guys.